When we think of yoga, what usually comes to mind? Probably a series of poses, maybe some breathing exercises, right? But what if I told you that for centuries, we've kind of been missing two of the most crucial ingredients? Today, we're diving into the lost power of where and when you practice yoga.
Okay, so take a look at this. It really is a tale of two yogas. On one hand, you've got modern yoga, which for a lot of us is basically a workout. But on the other hand, the classical view is something totally different. It's not a workout, it's an equation. The ancient masters were really clear. The technique, the what you do, that's only one part of the formula. The real transformation, the success, only came when you combined it with the right place and the right time.
So, these are the forgotten variables, the lost ingredients we're talking about. The ancient yogis argued that where you practice and when you practice are just as decisive for your success as the actual techniques you're using. Kind of wild, right? So let's dig in.
This right here is the core idea. Think about your body like a really sensitive, finely tuned instrument, maybe like a priceless violin. You wouldn't try to play a beautiful concert in a noisy, damp, chaotic room, would you? Of course not. It needs the right conditions to sound good. Well, that's exactly how the classical yogis saw the human body, as a delicate instrument that absolutely needs a supportive environment to thrive.
So the first lost ingredient is called desha. It's the Sanskrit word for the right place. And this is so much more than just finding a quiet corner in your apartment. It's about consciously and carefully creating a protective microclimate for your body and your energy, a space that is literally designed to nurture your practice.
And the second ingredient is kala, which means the right time. This whole concept is about alignment. It's about syncing up your practice with the natural rhythms of the day and the seasons. The idea is to work with your body's internal clock, not to fight against it.
Okay, so let's start with desha, the right place. What do the foundational texts of Hatha Yoga actually have to say about this? What does the ideal environment for practice really look like, according to them? The answers are pretty surprising.
What's just fascinating here is how much all these major texts agree. I mean, sure, each one has a slightly different focus. One might be all about practical hygiene, while another talks about something called energetic resonance. But really, they are all pointing to the exact same core principle. Your environment matters. Profoundly.
So when you boil all that advice down, a really clear blueprint emerges. The ideal space is quiet and secluded. It's clean. It's free from distractions, like animals or other people walking around. It's free from dangers. It's temperate, not too hot, not too cold. And it's gently ventilated, but without any strong winds. See, this wasn't some random mystical advice. It was a shared practical methodology for getting results.
All right, so we've covered the where, so now let's pivot to the when. Let's explore that second lost ingredient, kala, and see how the ancients recommended we align our practice with the rhythms of nature.
And again, just look at the consistency. The texts pretty much all favor early morning or that twilight time around dusk. But what's really sophisticated is that they're not dogmatic about it. One text, for instance, advises timing your practice based on your physiological readiness, which is really just a fancy way of saying, listen to your body. And there's also this universal agreement on seasonal timing. Adapt your practice to the climate and save your deepest, hardest work for the milder seasons.
So why all these specific rules about place and time? Was this just about being strict for the sake of it? Not at all. As we're about to see, these guidelines were based on a deep, practical, and honestly, a surprisingly modern understanding of the human body.
This quote just captures the mindset perfectly. Classical authors were not mystical romantics. They were careful technicians of embodied transformation. Let that sink in. These weren't just spiritual dreamers. They were like engineers of the human experience, meticulously observing what worked and what didn't.
And here it is, the big aha moment, where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Why a quiet, temperate place? To protect your nervous system from stress and overload. Why practice at dawn or dusk? Because those are times with minimal sensory input, so your mind is naturally calmer and more focused. This isn't mysticism. It's a deep understanding of our own biology, from circadian rhythms to physiological stress. It's ancient science, and it's totally validated by what we know today.
Now, this is all fascinating, but the big question is, how do we actually apply this ancient wisdom in our modern, super busy lives? Well, let's break it down into some simple, actionable steps. Step 1 is to find your place, your desha. Look, this doesn't mean you need a special yoga studio. A clean, quiet corner of a room is perfect. The key is making it a distraction-free zone. That means your phone is off, the clutter is gone, and a great little trick is to use the same spot every time.
Your brain will literally start to build a psychological link between that place and a state of calm focus. Next up, step 2, find your time, your kala. If you can swing it, early morning practice before the day's chaos begins is just golden. If evenings work better for you, that's totally fine. Just make sure you've waited for your last meal to fully digest. And honestly, the most important rule of all, listen to your body. Some days you'll have more energy than others. Just honor that.
And finally, step 3, adapt to the seasons. This is a real game changer. It means you don't push yourself to do your most intense practice in the middle of a heat wave or a blizzard. You just ease back a little. Think of spring and autumn as your opportunities, your prime time to explore longer or more challenging practices. It's just about being intelligent and adaptable.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. By intentionally choosing your place and time, you can transform your practice from something you just do, a routine, into something you mindfully create, a ritual. So the question isn't just if you practice, but how. Something to think about.